Hi, this is my first live here, so I'm quite excited to be here. All right, let's get started. So there I was, sitting at my desk, looking at the clock. It's like 9:05, and I've been here at work for only an hour and 5 minutes, and it's already feeling hard. I look over to the other side, and I see the exit sign. And as I'm staring at the exit sign, I'm in my cubicle, my headset on, tied to my phone, feeling like a desperate dog in a cage with a leash dying to get out. So I whisper under my breath, "Dear God, make me a bird so that I can fly far, far away. Dear God, make me a bird so that I can fly far, far away." That was my favorite line in Forrest Gump. Now, when 4:30 rolled around and it was time to go home, I knew that I was going to walk into another form of cage where my husband at the time was devoted to dictating every move I made. You see, he was not in love with the shape of me, as he felt that the top half of my body was too disproportionate to the bottom half. His disappointment in my body and resolve to change it ruled the dynamic of our relationship. So he controlled what I ate, how many push-ups I had to do. He screened my calls. He forbade me from taking the car to work so that I could walk, 1.5 hours per day. Needless to say, I hated my job and felt trapped in my marriage. So one day, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, at the airline that she was working for, they were hiring for flight attendants, and she told me about it. And she said, "You know what? You need to get on this because this is a rare occasion." So I applied for the position. And I knew that that was it. That was the answer to my "Dear God, make me a bird so that I could fly far, far away" prayer. I learned that the competition for this job was very fierce, and the multi-step interview process was long, demanding, and intense. But you know what? I wasn't gonna let anything get in my way. I was gonna be wholeheartedly focused, and not even my husband, who hated the idea, was gonna get in my way. So after weeks of, high-level suspense, I finally got an email congratulating me for passing all the steps, and inviting me to the 8-week flight attendant training. This training was more like a boot camp, and it was no joke. You could lose your job for being like 3 seconds late. But I made it through, and the day before graduation, the trainers came to me and encouraged me to become a trainer myself. But you know what? I was like, with a grateful smile, I thought to myself, like, hell no, I can't put anyone through what you put me through. I was so profoundly happy, though, that I had literally flown away from my old job, but I was still feeling trapped in my marriage. However, I didn't realize how much my life was going to change from that moment on. I had been flying for a while, and on one of my flights, I met a pilot who, just by saying to me, "You have a beautiful smile, you know that?" It made me realize that what was possible for me to have. A man to embrace me as I am naturally. It was clear. I knew what I wanted, and I started looking for that man of my dreams. Then, not too long after that, I met a passenger at the airport. We ended up being best friends, and she ended up helping me muster the courage to file for divorce. The best birthday present ever. And she gave me a place to stay while I got back on my feet. And not too long after that, a flight from Havana to Toronto, as passengers were boarding the aircraft, my eyes met with those of a man walking up the aisle. It took me a few moments of interaction with him to know that I had found the man of my dreams. It was as if I had flown to Cuba to pick him up. We fell in love and had two beautiful, amazing girls. And you know what? Even after 14 years of marriage, he still loves and embraces me as I am, naturally, top and bottom. And as a new mother, of a 3 and 1 year old, flying no longer made sense to me. I wanted to be with them every day. So I ended up getting an office job at my airline and had a blast helping the company get prepared and pass the safety audit conducted by the Federal Transport Authorities. But not too long after that, I realized that I just wanted to be home every moment with my girls, with my babies. And so I started my journey of starting an online business from home. Today, I empower women to rescue their focus, triple their productivity, and conquer their tech so that they can create the life and business of their dreams. Now, when I look back, I think to myself, I became a bird that flew far, far away from a life I didn't want and reaped so much happiness over the years. And I strongly believe that the power to create the life you want lies in your ability to focus wholeheartedly on your goals. So, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take you through 3 steps I teach to reach your goals, to become focused. So, to help you rescue your focus, first of all, so that you can triple your productivity. And before I do that, I just like to tell a quick story. As a flight attendant, one thing that shocked me, that surprised me, was on the rainy days. I actually loved flying on rainy days because on rainy days, there's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of, when you go through the airport, it's just so busy and it's gloomy outside. And, after takeoff, as we cross over the clouds, it's like all of that chaos disappears and it's just pure sunlight and it's blue skies and it's beautiful. And I believe that in the same way for us, with our focus, we can absolutely bring ourselves out of our chaotic, busy life and take ourselves into above the clouds, out of the chaos, into what I call a sticky focus zone, where the work that you do becomes easier because you can create for yourself this space of zenitude, let's say. All right, so let's jump into the 3 steps that you can take today to help you get focused, to help you rescue your focus and boost your productivity. Step 1. Now, when you are sitting down to work, before you sit down to work, say you have a big task to do. So let's say that task is building a website. You want to revamp your website, for your new business. So that takes work and focus, especially if you give yourself a deadline. So the first thing you want to do is plan it, right? Obviously. So you have that marked and you give yourself, if you say you're going to block 2 hours, you want to go into those 2 hours fully focused on that task. So the first thing you want to do is prepare. When you are entering your sticky focus zone, you are entering a space where you have the least amount of distractions possible. If that means that you need to keep your phone far away from you, then be it. If that means that you need to close your door, if you need to tell the people who love you so much that they want to be around you all the time, and even when you are working, you tell them, you set your boundaries. So first thing is to enter that space. You want to think about your emotions going in. So you use your journaling. If you don't like writing, you could also record yourself. So you could do verbal journaling, if you will, or you could draw it out if you love drawing. This is something that you could do. So there are 3 things that you could start with. The first thing is write something that you are compassionate about, or I should say you're compassionate towards your future self specifically. So your future self, as you're writing about your future self, think about what the life that you want for yourself in the future, and picture yourself, whether you're picturing yourself with the clothes or the house that you're in, whatever it is, but picture yourself, your future self, and then write down a statement that shows that you feel compassion for your future self. So in my case, I will say something like, future Olivia, I know that right now this task of creating a new website is big, but I will do what it takes because you being in that house, because say you're imagining yourself in your new house, right? Or you being in that house is so important to you, and I will do what it takes to help you get there. So I'm going to focus on the website. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is gratitude. You write something that you feel grateful for. And then the reason why this works is because it's been shown, there's been studies, many studies done, both on gratitude and compassion, and the third emotion too that I'm going to get into in just a moment. You want to, by feeling gratitude, when you feel grateful towards someone, you tend to put your immediate pleasures aside to take care of the needs of that person, or whatever it is, to give to that person a way to say thank you. So in the same way that we tend to like put our immediate pleasures aside to be able to say thank you to someone. So let's say you lose your wallet, you find it again. Someone brings it back to you intact, nothing missing, all your credit cards, saves you a ton of work from having to cancel your credit cards and all that stuff. You feel so grateful that you want to like give, say, the last $20 you have in your wallet. You know, that $20 could have been for, I don't know, like a big dessert that you're going to get for yourself. But you know what? Like, you're like, forget the dessert. I want to say thank you. So that's your immediate pleasure of wanting to get that dessert. You're putting it aside and giving it to someone else. So that's why being grateful and pointing that towards your future self. So you're putting aside your immediate pleasures right now so that you can focus on doing what it is you need to do, which in this case is building your website for your future self. And then the third emotion is pride. So pride works in the same way. It helps you put aside it helps you actually boost your willingness to persevere. So even when something feels hard, say you're part of a swim team, an elite swim team, and you are someone who naturally likes to get up late in the day. Because you're part of this elite swimming team, you feel that pride that you feel of being part of that team makes you do crazy things like waking up before the sun rises just so that you can practice. So if you tap into your feeling of pride towards yourself, what you're doing is you are tapping into the power of pride, the authentic pride, to direct it towards your future self. So that when you're putting aside, you're doing the things, you're waking up before everybody else so that you could build your business. So this is why these three emotions, when you tap into them, like I said, you could do it when you're by writing in your journal these statements that will trigger these emotions. And you could record your voice, audio, you could record video, or you could draw it out. If you're someone who loves drawing, you could draw out the images that trigger those emotions. So that's the first thing before you step into your sticky focus zone, where you want to create this environment of, clarity, of peace, of, distractionless. You want to prepare yourself emotionally. So next, timing. You want to time yourself. Why? Because like the Pomodoro technique that is widely used, and you can look it up. The way it works is you block 25 minutes, focus time, then you take 5 minutes break. 25 minutes, take a break, 5 minutes. So the twist that I've put on this Pomodoro technique, I call it the 60-60 chill. So what that does is it helps you focus intensely, but then take a break. So you're intense, release. Intense, release. But what you'll notice is that it's important to be able to train your brain to focus for longer than 25 minutes. So every time you sit down, you want to add that 5 minutes. So you could do it every day. You could decide to add 5 minutes every week. So you can start with 25 minutes, because if you ask yourself, if you're honest with yourself, how long can you focus for without your brain trying to do other things? A lot of us start at 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because life has trained us to be super, super all over the place, right? Like our phones, our technology around us are designed to grab our attention at all times. So like we have to kind of fight against that and train ourselves, train our brains like we train a muscle by adding 5 minutes incrementally every week or every day. So you start at 25 minutes, then next time you do 30 minutes. and then take a break. And then you do 35 minutes, take a break until you reach 60 minutes. The goal for you is to focus 60 minutes straight. I don't recommend going above that because your brain also needs a rest. High performing athletes take a break, even if it's like 30 seconds during their performance, so that they can keep up their performance at a high level. So that's something that if you want to look into it, it's called The Power of Full Engagement by Jim Lair, and it's a book that teaches how to focus and how to train yourself to kind of take breaks and how to practice that. So it's really, really good. And so the third thing is a game plan. So when you are when you want to have something produce something big. You want to have your website up and running. You may need help, but you need also firstly a game plan. And that game plan you can have fun doing it, and this is something that I actually love doing. So the game plan looks something like this. You start off with, you could chop it off in weeks, okay? So you start off with knowing, okay, what it is that you want to accomplish in the next 3 months. If you say to yourself, okay, on the long run, like what's the length of your project? So your project is building a website. So if you're thinking, okay, well, 2 months, or let's say 3 months, okay, because you're doing this on your own, and maybe this is your first time building a website, and so you have a lot to learn. So if you know that you have 3 months to plan to get your website out there, to set it up, you start with that. So we're January 1st, and by March 31st, you want to launch your website. So then what you do then is that you go with that end date, you move backwards. So you'll say to yourself, okay, I need to have, how many hours per month do I need to be able to reach that? And then from those hours per month, so you say, okay, well, maybe like 30 hours per month, then you break that down again to your weeks. Okay, so well, how many hours per week does that mean that I can do? So that's, from my math, let's make it 35 hours, okay? So you see 35 hours, and so you break it, 36 hours. Yeah, 36 hours, so that means 12 hours per week that you would have to do. Is that right? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm just realizing how bad at math I am. Oh, actually, I'm not bad at math. I think it's just the pressure of having to calculate in a live video. That's all. So let's do 40 hours per month. Then that makes 10 hours. There, I got it. 10 hours per week. So that means that you will break down, okay, so 10 hours per week, then you'll break that down again. Okay, so how many hours per day? Because you may not be able to do, say 5-day week. You may not be able to do 2 hours per day. You may be able to do 1 hour here, 2 hours here. So you need to block those hours per day based on what you know you could do. So that's how the hours, you break them down. And that's how you'll know that the time that you set aside with that, like just focusing on that 1 hour, every hour that you're going to be focusing it on will help you get to your deadline, will help you meet your deadline. And you can definitely readjust as time moves on, right? Because as you start this, you'll realize, okay, well, you know what? I need more time. I need to invest a little bit more time. Maybe instead of putting in more time, maybe you'll ask for help. So the game plan is one of the things. This is one aspect of the game plan, is the scheduling. And I hope this is very helpful for you. And before I go, my time is almost up, and I just wanted to encourage you to check out my website to book a call with me, because I strongly believe that when you focus wholeheartedly on your goals, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you from reaching them. So I'm here to help you reach that level of high focus. If you go to stickyfocus.com/book15, I'll put the link in the comments below, and we'll be able to have a 15-minute discussion for free. And I will talk and we'll share about how I can help you how we can work together so that I can help you reach your goals. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you so much.